So, before this channel was barely even considered as a thing that might exist. In fact, I would argue this was kind of the start of me thinking that, hey, it would be cool to have this channel and it be a thing. It was this. It was the thing that you're about to hear about now, the car that you're about to see me build, that was the reason I started this channel right here, and I started the projects that I want to start, because I had the idea, and then I was like, you know what, I want to do that. But I wanted to start getting a few more LEGO Speed Champions, and it was my birthday, so I thought, you know what, I'll treat myself a little as well, you know? And this car, even though it's before the poster project, which, of course, as you can see, I've got not only one, but two of the poster project already ready, which I will probably have built by the time that, you know, I will have built it, essentially. But I thought before that, I just wanted to pick up a car for myself. This car, like I mentioned, even though it's not part of a poster project, it will be part of the wall that I end up making, which, if you don't know about that, watch the video on this channel. Hi, I'm Brickwatch, I suppose. Not the name I'm used to. I'm normally used to my main channel, but this is a channel that I started out of passion. I just want to share some cool Speed Champions with you guys, some official ones, review them, and some custom ones, and all things Speed Champion, maybe eventually all things LEGO games as well, if I want to live stream on this channel, but just sharing that stuff with you. So head down there and subscribe if you want to join me for Speed Champions news, Speed Champions, and maybe playing some of the iconic LEGO games. So this car, however, it will be part of the wall, but it's more importantly part of the three cars that make up my dream cars. That is the Audi RS6 Avant, and that would have a trailer for it as well. And that trailer would be made specifically for a car that I wouldn't insure, because I would only buy it for car meets and to customize and to show off the Mazda RX7 FC. And then my daily driver, the car that I want to use day to day when I'm having fun, when I'm chilling, and that's going to be the Alpine A110. If you don't know those three cars, the Audi RS6, I feel like you might know that one is the more obvious one out of all of those. I might drop that car, you know, give it really low suspension and whatnot that makes an Audi RS6 look good. But the other car is the Alpine A110. So there's this thing, which you might recognize. I want this specifically for a trailer, plus the day-to-day. If I have kids, I can actually use this car efficiently because of the space and the whatever and the seats. And then the other car is this thing. I want this thing, and then and you know what? Maybe I'm gonna have Speed Champions of both of these two eventually as well. But obviously the third, and actually first out of all of these, one that I had was the Mazda RX7 FC. Not the regular RX7, specifically the FC. Why do I like this car? Well, it's essentially just because in the Crew 2, they had the RX7 FC. That's essentially it. Not this one, specifically this one, the variation, the FC. This is, of course, the FB. If you didn't know that, get into cars a bit more, you know? This is the one I like. I liked it in this game to a level that, well, it grew in how much I liked it. And now, thanks to a livery someone made for it, it's the car that is the poster car for my main channel. So, I really like that thing. And it's rather iconic from an anime. Specifically that being, I believe it's called Initial D. That anime is popular for that, but I don't really know it from that. You could, if you wanted to, buy this variation of it, and I suppose make custom stickers to then add to it, and then you get something pretty cool out of it, you know? But I found this. I found this listing in my mega list that I have of cars, of LEGO Speed Champions cars, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna buy it. Well, first I was like, and then I was kind of like, does it really look like an FC? I don't know. And I kept umming and ahhing until finally, for my birthday, I bought it. And well, it went pretty alright. Obviously, the way you buy stuff on this is I go over to buy parts, and I send the parts list over to Brick Owl, and then I buy it from a bunch of different places over there. I bought this one from Brick Amazing, Brick Arena, way too many bricks, the Brick Prof, and Spare Bricks. I had issues with one of the orders as they sent incorrect parts. However, it was instantaneously solved. I sent a message, they were like, my bad, weren't having the best time. So, you know, then they sorted that out. I'm not gonna call them out for that, because it's like, you know, it's whatever. You go through a bad day. It's not like I'm dealing with a big company here. I'm dealing with a couple of people who have some big Lego collections. So, I didn't mind it. But then, all the packages arrive, and I didn't actually film, but for the future, I will film when the packages arrive. And then I built the thing. And this was me building the thing. Now, this is very sped up, yes. It's very sped up for a simple reason. These aren't official Lego instructions. These aren't Lego instructions that you can just find online somewhere, right? So I wanted to make sure that I'm not just stealing money from this guy who's put time and effort into these instructions, so that you can't just use this video as a quick you know, look at how to build the car. For future ones, if it's free instructions, I will probably show the actual build more. But if it is a custom one that someone's made, I'm not going to show it because, you know, yeah, it feels wrong. The link is down there, though, and for $3, you can get these instructions. So, go ahead, grab them. But there is something I did to this car, and that I can show. So, this is the Mazda RX7 FC. It looks pretty good. I think the first reaction when I showed it to my mates, which they're gonna play a decent part in this, because I'll show them it, and a good test for these cars is just being like, hey fellas, what do you guys think? Because they know about cars, in fact more than I do, so it's up to them to really be like, oh no, yeah, okay, it looks like that car. And the first take was, it's a little flat, and I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not a lot more you can do in this sort of scale, but it does look pretty flat. I'm not gonna argue with that one. I get what you mean, but I didn't hate it because, you know, it's like, what, it's the best you can do in this scale. And if I place a Hot Wheel right near it, you know, you can see it still kind of holds up. It just, the front doesn't have the kind of angle that you would expect it to have, you know? But it kind of looks alright in the long run. But one of my mates did mention that as good as it could look, as good as it all might already look, it just needs and is really missing pop-up headlights. The pop-up headlights are what are going to fix this car. Now, I'm no stranger to this. The Mazda RX7 custom that I built from the Supra, these are free online instructions. They're on Google somewhere, on YouTube actually, specifically. This thing right here, the headlights were kind of bad. They used like solid black squares instead of these two pieces, which I'm fairly certain were in that set. The two little headlight pieces there, those to me just work 10 times better for the RX-7. So I did that. And now, this one really looks like a Mazda RX-7, thanks to the pop-ups. So what can we do about that? Well, I just started rummaging through some parts, and we have, to fix it, a plan. And well, this isn't part of the actual, you know, the guy's build. I did this, so I'm happy to show you it. If you buy this build and you want to put on pop-up headlights onto the build, there's a few parts you will need. Now, these parts aren't from the set. Of course, they're they're parts that I sort of rummaged around, but they're not terrible to have. I suppose if you order this set, you could easily put these parts into the list as well. You need two of these white cheese slopes, the 1x1s. You need 2 of these see-through 1x1s. You need 2 of these 1x1s with a little stud on them as well. And then you just need 2 just flat white 1x1s. Then it's as simple as starting by, I'm trying to get the lighting so you can actually see it a bit better, these bits off. Now, they're hard to take off, so what I do is I start at the bottom. You take this, everything's falling apart. Oh no, maybe that says something about the build. I mean, it's a review, so I'm happy to leave that in. You take that off. Then I take that off, finally, and now I can actually more easily remove this little contraption, I suppose. Do the same thing on the other side. Just remove that, and then you can more easily take off everything, I guess, because it's all falling apart. Now, you can keep the headlight piece on there. That can go straight back on, because that stays right there, because it's part of the lights. Originally, I was like, oh, that's the pop-up, so I'll use that to make the new pop-up. But no, that's a part of the RX-7 that is actually supposed to stay there and be there. So once I connect these bits all back together, there we go, and there we go. We can now put these light bricks back. I mean, if you can actually get them off without having to dismantle that bottom section, good on you, you know. The way I then follow through is the 1x1 flat tile you just place on top of the light. There we go. That'll close things up a bit, so things aren't as open and wild as they potentially could be. Then you take the black piece here and you just place it like that, quite obviously starting to craft the pop-up headlights. Then you just add the headlight piece on the front. Now, the black works as a very good backdrop for these headlights. Yes, I could have used white for these, but I didn't, because black looks better in this circumstance. It's the same for the other Mazda RX-7. And there we go. That way, we have pop-ups on the Mazda RX-7 FC. Absolutely beautiful. Now, like I mentioned, originally I had like a really weird looking pop-up headlights. I sort of used that piece there, the other headlight piece, because obviously the Mazda RX-7 just has like 6 headlights in total. I used that, and I used these tiles, which you're left over with, so you can just I just keep them in the car. I used those to make the headlights, and they were just way too big. They had way too weird of a side profile. That side profile looks perfect to me as far as Mazda RX-7 FC's go. I did actually have to steal one of those slopes off of the Jesco over here. But other than that, the back of the car looks absolutely brilliant. The side of the car looks absolutely brilliant, especially with the pop-ups, and the front of it now actually does really start to look like a Mazda RX-7 FC. This bit down here, these 4 pieces, it would have been a bit better if they were white, as that matches with the Mazda RX-7 FC that I've seen a lot better, but then again, it may just be a different year. The slope type here is quite nice. The way this build worked was pretty enjoyable. But other than that, it makes a brilliant addition to start off my LEGO Speed Champions building. The first episode on Brickwedge on the Mazda RX-7 FC. Subscribe. I would love to see you guys come back for next episode where we build the Quattro. That's the one that's next up. So if you want to see us build the Audi Quattro as it's going to be on display over there with these cars, do head down there and subscribe. And if you're a fan of Initial D, if you're a fan of RX-7s, if you're a fan of the FC, definitely pick up this custom build by VV334. It was a fun build. It was a fun vid. In a bit.